Hello everyone, I'm Renowned Zero, and it would appear that as Eric July decides to put out stuff like a fan art contest to search for talent that he could possibly hire and give out rewards such as cash prizes and all of the items from the ISOM 2 campaign, we have of course Mark Brooks saying it's unethical, saying that nobody should participate, trying to essentially attack his business. And we do have a great video here from the Rippaverse Goalposts YouTube channel, which I will leave a link to it in the description. Go to his channel, give him some views, subscribe to his channel, subscribe to this channel if you like content like this and other content containing pop culture, news, some gaming news, some comic related stuff. Trying to do some more comic reviews on all the independent stuff that I do, that I bought, independent comics that I bought. So we're going to take a look at this video and go through it here. He has all the tweets perfectly lined up. Pretty good video. I've already watched it. We'll watch it again and commentate on it. Let's jump right into it. But actually, before that, just a quick update on the numbers for this. Currently sitting at 1.557 million with 9,061 of cover A's, 9,659 of cover B, and 3,328 cover C's, with 898 total books donated to charity. Just for the record, I am blocked by Mark Brooks. I've only interacted with him one time, basically thanking him for signing my Darth Vader cover variant number 1. I also have his cover for Berserker number 1, which honestly he's an ass. But let's get right into this video now.
The Rippaverse is sponsoring a fan art contest, which ends on July 20th. Marvel and DC artist Mark Brooks had a discussion with Eric July on Twitter, arguing that fan art contests are unethical.
They're completely not unethical at all.
Mark Brooks said, "No artist should ever do this. It's a studio asking for free artwork with hopes of compensation later. It's a shitty thing to do to artists."
That's how you find talent. That's how you find people in the community, which Eric July has specifically said that he would hire from the inside of the community for stuff regarding the Rippaverse.
Of people that don't know what spec work is, how it's used to take advantage of artists, and why it's unethical is disheartening. Artists have a long way to go to get the world to understand and respect what we do. What is spec work? According to an article on nospec.com, spec work is any kind of creative work, either partial or completed, submitted by designers to prospective clients before designers secure both their work and equitable fees. Under these conditions, designers will often be asked to submit work in the guise of a contest or an entry exam on existing jobs as a test of their skill. In addition, designers normally lose all rights to their creative work because,
which is something that is definitely not happening with the fan art contest. Sure, he may display the fan art so he can show the people who go to the site can see what the community works on and see their hard work, and maybe they'll ask for a commission from one of them. That's kind of how networking works.
because they failed to protect themselves with a contract or agreement. The clients often use this freely gained work as they see fit without fear of legal repercussion. Why is spec work unethical? The designers work for free and with an often falsely advertised, overinflated promise for future employment.
It's not overinflated. It's pretty transparent of what you'll receive for first place, which is up to $23,000 on a commission for interior work, which is just one book, not an entire yearly salary.
Or are given other insufficient forms of compensation. I'm not a lawyer and will not be...
Definitely the items from the ISOM 2 campaign are definitely not low value. They're pretty high value.
Going through the legal mumbo-jumbo. But what I can do is leave a link to the Rippaverse fan art contest, official rules, terms, and conditions in the description box below. Mark Brooks continued...
And that's over on the Rippaverse Goalposts YouTube channel, which like I said, I will leave a link to it in the description of this video.
...continued arguing with Eric July and his fans for a few more hours. Mark said, "I'm not telling anyone how to run their business."
You pretty much are by trying to say that that Eric should pay people for their artwork in this fan art contest.
Eric should do whatever he likes. I simply said no self-respecting artist should enter any contest like this from any company or corporation. They are using the fan art to make money. Eric will post entries as promotion, driving more traffic to his site and campaign. He'll literally make money off artists working for free. It's not hard to understand. This has nothing to do with Comicsgate, politics, or anything drama-related. I've posted similarly to major movie and video game studios. It's just...
I would think the traffic that's being sent to his website for people to look at the fan art would inspire other people to try and do the same thing. And then eventually it may even lead to someone trying to make their own comic book.
Just plain insulting to actual artists. Pay artists or save up until you can afford to pay them. You're soliciting art from unpaid artists in hopes they might get paid. Professionals don't do this. I have zero beef with you otherwise.
So apparently, where is the tweet? So apparently last year Marvel didn't do this fan art contest. That's right here. Pretty sure they did. It's right there.
I just don't like seeing artists taken advantage of. I'll give an example and leave it at that. Imagine I invite plumbers over for a contest to work on your pipes. The plumber that does the best
This is a very terrible example, by the way.
gets paid. Everyone else is fucked. Every plumber would tell you to fuck off. That's what you're doing, but replace artists for plumbers. Spec work is considered the lowest of...
Plumbers are already paid up front a salary to work as a plumber.
the low in commercial art. It rivals your charity scheme. Just be real, dude. You apparently have millions. Pay artists. I've produced...
At the very least, unlike Marvel and DC, Eric pays their artists on time for the commissions and the work that they do over at the Rippaverse, unlike Marvel and DC.
almost a dozen art books that sold over 40,000 copies. I did
Good for you, bud.
my own fulfillment. I also run a mailing list with 50,000 plus people selling merch.
Again, good for you, bud. Not to Rippaverse, to Mark Brooks.
Again, I do the fulfillment, all while drawing all day. Like I said, I kinda know what I'm doing. I grew a fan base off
And yet here you are pissy broke, while the artists and employees that work for the Rippaverse are not pissy broke.
work I did for other people, and work done for myself. I was paid for all of it. I don't care who you were before or now. I have no ill will towards you and wish you well. Just pointing
You definitely do have ill will. Your jealousy and envy runs deep.
out why contests like the one you're running are shitty to artists. You've got to stop overreacting every time someone gives you the slightest criticism, Eric. It's a huge sign of weakness. Why do you even care what I think?
Because because Mark Brooks talks a lot of shit. That's why.
Find your contests shitty to artists. So what? Please relax. You just seem extremely easily triggered. I fully expect a 30-minute tirade video of you screaming about my one tweet.
Yeah, it's called monetizing the haters. Yeah, Mark Brooks. Called monetizing the haters.
Feel free to surprise me.
Like I said, go ahead over to the Rippaverse Goalposts YouTube channel and give them a view as well. You know, hit like on their videos so they get more picked up in the algorithm and all that. Give them a subscribe too. I'll leave the link to their channel in the description. But it would appear that Mark Brooks is, of course, getting exposed for making his own art contest and not paying the person the prizes that they were expecting to get. So, Eric July, of course, called him out, said, "It has been brought to my attention that you actually hosted a contest of your own, Mark Brooks. Your winning award was a goodie box, and it is being claimed that you didn't even honor it. Is this true?" To which he responds, I now know that stuff like this is unethical, even though I wasn't using the work on my website nor using it to promote my own property. I wouldn't do this now because I know better. You now know better as well. Which he actually also said this over here. It says, "You got me. I ran an art contest 17 years ago when I was green to professional art that you didn't win. Before I realized stuff like this is unethical. Congrats." So, yeah, there's that. And there's also... Where is it? There's also... John Malin, who came out and said the same exact thing. Where is it? Here. Says, "Missed the whole thing." This is from John Malin. "I too entered a sham art contest put on by Mark Brooks back when he was a part of Lead Heavy, and I was a nobody. The challenge was to draw a Pinhead from Hellraiser. Winner gets already existing Mark Brooks original Pinhead art. Of course I won. I always do, even 20 years back. I never received a piece from Mark. Tried several times to get it, lol. So essentially you got exposed for doing a fan art contest, except you never gave the rewards that you were supposed to send out. Meanwhile, Eric has actually done a art contest for the first Rippaverse book, ISOM number 1, and he got the award out to the person that won. No submitted Rippaverse art has ever been nor will ever be repurposed and sold by us. Submitters can do what they want with the art. All winners of last year's fan art contest were rewarded. Steven Sanchez, first place, has long been paid for his $1,000 commission. Integrity. So, you're just a big phony, Mark. It's pretty funny how you try to call other people out for things and then you get called out for doing the exact same thing. But we'll continue along with more detractors, where comic books for kids is where the donated books are going. We got this weird old detractor. Are you working with the publisher Rippaverse? They seem to be using your logo while charging an obscene amount of money to support your organization with a donation of only a single book. Okay. Would a direct donation help bring more books to kids? I'd rather help as many as I can. No, you wouldn't. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Eric July and Rippaverse are comic books for kids' only publishing partner, actually receiving a gain rather than a loss through their charitable enterprise. Guess you're alright with selling his books for him. That's not what's happening. By the way, the founder of Rippaverse Comics, Eric July, is a big supporter of Alex Jones. I have to admit this makes me very, very uncomfortable. No one cares. Especially since kids are involved. Again, no one cares. You can feel as uncomfortable as you want. You're a huge concern troll. No one gives a shit what you think. Moving on. Breaking news, Actual Fan removed his rainbow profile pic before the end of Pride Month. Why doesn't Actual Fan support Alphabet community? Couldn't stand in solidarity for a single month. Really, virtue signaling is tough work. So fucking funny. This app is for fragile fascists. I mean, you are a fascist. You like to call everybody else these things, but you're trying to control other people's speech. Come on, dog. And of course, we're back with Big Daddy himself saying more nonsense about Eric July. Eric July has his own website and can make up whatever numbers he wants. I'm calling it now. I bet if ISOM number 2 doesn't make more than the first one, he's gonna fudge the numbers to save face because he's an insecure man-child.
He does have his own fucking website and all that fucking whatever. He really can make up whatever numbers he wants. And at the end of the day, in order to save face, I bet he will, even if it makes less than the first one, he's going to fuck.
Which, by the way, Eric doesn't actually care if it does or not. He said this multiple times over, since ISOM 1, he's said this. He says he doesn't expect every single campaign to make $3.7 million. So, which, by the way, he's made more on this campaign in the first 24 hours than he's made more money in the first 24 hours of the second campaign over the first campaign. So there's that.
Fudge the numbers, and and the second ISOM is going to end up making more money than the first one, but the number is going to be fudged. Calling it now.
It's not going to happen.
Because if they don't make more,
unlike Air July, you are disingenuous.
More than the first one, he's going to lose some face. And this guy he's insecure man-child. You can't lose.
He's absolutely not.
His face, no. You would rather fake it and fudge.
Air July has never been fake about anything involving ISOM.
The numbers and just pretend like it made more.
He's literally shown the back end with the first ISOM. You think he won't show the back end of the second ISOM just to make you idiots look more idiotic?
Because it looks like we're winning. We will win. Oh, ass cracker. Slap your nuts on the table.
These are things that Eric July says. It's like you're trying to make fun of someone who's going to be way more successful than you'll ever be while you sit here and ankle bite and complain about Eric July.
He does have his own fucking...
It's such a weird thing for these people. I can never in a billion years imagine hiring writers to do my story ideas. That's such a foreign concept to me. But then again, I'm a real writer, and yet you have nothing published, and yet you are bitching and complaining about Eric July rather than doing your own quote-unquote writing that you supposedly can do. I've got way more pages under my belt than Eric does. Just because they're not published doesn't mean I haven't done them. Yeah, they're not published because they're clearly not good.
It's another thing about Eric July that proved what a fucking hack he is. That he went out and hired writers. Like... Me personally, I could never in a billion years.
Wow, because Marvel and DC don't hire writers. Wow, but you don't hold Marvel and DC to the same standards. Marvel and DC hire writers all the time. This is such a weird sort of, I guess, trying to own, Eric.
Imagine hiring writers to do my story ideas.
Imagine, right? Imagine Marvel hiring writers to write different characters. What a foreign concept to retards.
Like, that's just such a foreign concept to me. But then again,
I just said that too. I literally just said that.
I'm a real fucking writer.
You're literally not.
I've got way more pages under my belt than Eric does.
Good for you.
Just because they're not published doesn't mean I haven't fucking done them.
That's literally what that means.
Just proof positive that the guy is fucking, he's a fucking hack. He's a talentless hack. For the simple fact you have to fucking hire writers. You should.
Oh, Marvel and DC have to hire writers too.
If you love these characters, if you truly have a story to tell, then there's nothing to stop you from telling that story. Especially if you've got the money to pay your artists. You would be telling all your own stories. The book is so bad, I could, like, from now...
I mean, Stan Lee created a whole bunch of different characters. Was he writing every single book? No. What the fuck does that even mean?
Like, every week until the end of time, like, turn my channel into an ISOM channel, where all I do is rip on the book and talk about how trash it is.
You can go right ahead and do that. You ain't gonna get very far. Because most people are not going to look at ISOM the same way you do.
And I would have...
The vast majority of people who bought ISOM actually liked it. Probably even loved it.
Content from now to the end of time. That's how bad that book is. Literally.
Yet here you are with no one caring about your videos.
Normal people that
You typically have to make videos that people want to watch.
just want to be entertained by a good entertainment can't take that fucking shit seriously. So that Rippaverse, all that Rippaverse bullshit only appeals to Eric July fans.
That is definitely not true.
Like, you ain't gonna fucking win no culture war just selling fucking product to your fans. It's like fucking...
It's called word of mouth, bud. Most people who are buying the book probably have told a bunch of people who don't read comics to check it out and have come over and started reading the books. It's called word of mouth, bud.
Like low-end QVC bullshit selling to fucking a bunch of cucked up...
And even if he is selling to just his own fan base, who cares?
For middle-class white people who never had a fucking black friend.
Oh, this is pretty old. Yeah, this part's... I've done video on this before.
Christians who will buy literal feces if they think it supports Christianity. And a bunch of stupid fucking low-T, gamma male, beta male...
I mean, you sound very low T considering this is what you're doing on the internet, rather than supposedly working on this writing ability that you have.
Black dudes. There's your fucking fan base.
Again, even if it was, who cares?
Those people are really gonna make a big fucking difference in the quote-unquote culture war.
Yeah, because it seems like those people have money and you sound like a brokey. So...
Yeah, you want to get your book into the hands of normies, you want normies to read that shit, then you're going to have a good story.
I am a normie, and I read the story, and it was a pretty damn good story. What's your point, bud?
Like, normies don't give a shit about the E-persona Eric July. No, normies...
I'm a normie, bud.
Just want to be entertained by something good.
I was definitely entertained by ISOM #1. More entertained than I've ever been with a comic book. At least recent comic books.
ISOM is not good entertainment. By any metric, it's just...
It's not good entertainment according to you. That's an opinion you're allowed to have. You're also allowed to have shitty opinions.
Trash.
You're allowed to have shitty opinions, but... It wasn't until I got a hold of his comic and how bad it really was, and then I got angry. There's nothing that pisses me off more than when mediocrity is put on a pedestal. I would love to show Eric July how to do it correctly like a teacher. I mean, The Last Jedi and Disney Star Wars movies are put on a pedestal and they're shitty. They're objectively shitty. So, Miles Morales as a character is objectively shitty. But he's put on a pedestal because he's black, I guess. He's Peter Darker, tokenized Peter Parker.
No matter how good the book it is, It only matters how big your warehouse is and how much money you made. Yeah, like I said, I was ambivalent toward this guy. It wasn't until I got a hold of his comic and saw how bad it really was, and then I got angry. Because,
Well, good for you. Again, that's your opinion.
like I said, there's nothing that pisses me
You're allowed to have it.
off more than when mediocrity is put on a fucking pedestal.
Again, the fact that you think it's mediocre is still your opinion. You're allowed to have it. The vast majority of people who read ISOM do not agree with you.
And people all told this piece of shit how great that fucking comic was. Big Daddy.
Because that's their opinion. They're allowed to tell Eric July how good his comic is because, again, it is an opinion at the end of the day.
Daddy's gonna be real. I'm gonna be the only one who's real with this piece of shit and tell him how
Again, your opinion.
trash it really is.
You can't... It's an opinion, buddy. It's not a fact.
Sometimes you need somebody like Big Daddy out there just to be honest with you and tell you how it fucking really is.
No. No. He doesn't need to take business advice or any kind of advice from you.
It's the only way to grow as a man. Said, ISOM was literally so bad. From now to the end of time, every week I can dedicate like a full 2 hours to roasting it. Like that is
just good for you, bud. You can do that. And you're going to get nowhere in life. You're going to look like a pathetic, jealous loser who spends their time criticizing a comic every week rather than making your own stuff that you claim could be better. Go and do that.
is literally how bad that fucking comic is. Like, I've got material from now to the end of time. If I truly wanted to.
I mean, I've got material to the end of time because of people like you always hating on something that you don't care about.
Like, I would love to just go with Eric panel by panel and just fucking, like a teacher, like correcting homework for a student. And show him how to fucking do it correctly.
You can do it so correctly that you're sitting here complaining about the book rather than working on your own material.
Like, that, if I was Eric and had those professionals at my disposal, like, I would ask them for their input. Hey,
I don't need to continue that because I've done videos on some of these already. There's some extra added input in there that are not in my previous video, but I don't need to continue with that. This will probably be the last portion of this, where you have this guy. I think his name is Big Fridge or whatever, Billy the Fridge, who openly admits he's obsessed.
Yeah, like say what you want about Drunken Peasants podcast, our hatred for Eric July.
Yes, you have a lot of it, and your podcast is not growing.
Everything else beyond the blind obsession for Eric July, everything else is highly entertaining. So Rippaverse Goalposts was just here watching the show, having a good time, eating like, I don't know, a fucking tub of popcorn with a dick hole cut out in the bottom. Having
It's so weird. Like, these dudes are always talking about penises. Like, dude, we get it. You like to project your weird fantasies onto other people. It's okay.
a good time. And then Eric July got brought up because of our obsession, and they had to call us
Yes, you are obsessed.
out on it. Thank you for keeping us honest, Rippaverse Goalpost. Half of the shit you post about me is like a fucking highlight reel of all the badass shit I say. I love it.
It's a highlight reel of how stupid you sound and how obsessed you actually are. But I'm here to call out your nonsense because you openly, disingenuously lie about people, and that's something I can't deal with. That I hate people who openly lie about other people, and it's annoying.
Love it.
Yep. I think that is it for this video. Thank you all for checking it out. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers, pushing our way to 1,000 subs for monetization, full monetization. And I appreciate every single one of you. If you do like this video, hit that like button. Comment below what you feel about all this. Do not interact with anyone that was mentioned in this video. Subscribe for more content like this. Hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all. That way you get notifications anytime I post a new video. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.